Hello everyone. So today I'm going to continue on chapter 8, which is respiratory systems in humans and animals. So let me start. So basically there are four learning objectives in this chapter, which is we're going to learn about the types of respiratory system in humans and also animals. And the second one is the mechanism of breathing. Okay, we are going to learn what are the similarities and also the differences in the mechanism of breathing in humans, frogs, insects, and also fish. And the third one is the gases exchange in humans. We are going to learn how the gases exchange happen in humans. And the last one is the health issue related to the human respiratory systems. So now start with the first subtopic, which is types of respiratory system. And okay, so now we move to the respiratory structures and their adaptation for gases exchange. So basically the respiratory structure is the respiratory surface which enables the gases exchange to occur between the respiring organisms, cells, and their outer environments. So basically the gases exchange means that the exchange of the respiratory gas, for example, like oxygen and carbon dioxide. And the second one, the ratio of the surface area to the volume depends on the size of the organism. So the bigger the size of organism, the smaller the ratio of total surface area to the volume. So this means that for a large and more complex organism, the volume of the body that required oxygen will increase more than its total surface area. So this explains why the large and also complete organism they cannot maintain the gases exchange for the fusion through the body surface only. Okay, so unlike the smaller organism, for example, like worms, they can carry on the respiration through their skin only, okay, because their skin they have like a larger ratio of the total surface area to the volume. Okay, so now we move to the adaptation of the respiratory structure for efficient exchange of gases in this organism. So basically there are four characteristics for the adaptation in a large organism. For the first one, we have like large ratio of total surface area to volume, which is for the efficient exchange of respiratory gases. And the second one, we have a thin respiratory structure at which it allows the diffusion of gases to occur. For example, like the skin of the frog, the skin is very thin, so the diffusion of the oxygen can happen through the skin only. And then the third one is the surface of the respiratory structure is moist. For example, like the tapeworm, okay, we have like worm which the skin is very moist and thin and the diffusion can occur, okay, just through the skin. And the last one is the respiratory structure is complete with a network of blood capillaries. This enhance the efficient delivery of the respiratory gases. Okay, this one we can take a look after this. Okay, for example, like under the skin of the frog, they have like they have like a network of blood capillary which help to which enhance the transportations for the respiratory gases to the other body cells. So this one we have like there are three types of respiratory structure that we're going to learn. The first one is the insect, fish, and human respiratory structure. Of course, all of them they have different types of respiratory structure. Okay, so now we take a look on the insect. So basically, insect respiratory structure and its adaptation. For the insect, they have like the tracheal system. Okay, tracheal system is basically it is the air tube system. Okay, as you can see, there are the air sacs here. So the air sac is actually they are filled with air. Okay, so inside the body of the insect, they have like a structure we call the spiracle. And the spiracle they have like a small hole. Okay, they have like a hole um which allow the intake of the air into the air tube system, which is the tracheal system. Okay, you can open the textbook, page 129. You can see the sprinkle clearly. You can see that these small pores in the thorax and the abdomen of the insect they call the spiracle. There are small pores here, which is the air will enter the tracheal system through these small pores of the spiracle. And then the trachea, okay, the trachea here, it will branch it into a finer tube, which is it called as the tracheolus. Okay, tracheolus is, this one is the walls of the tracheolus is very thin and moist, because this part is actually the respiratory surface where the exchange of the gases will occur. Okay, so that's why the tracheolus wall is very thin and moist, because this will allow the oxygen gas to diffuse into the cells, while the carbon dioxide is diffused out of the cell into the tracheal. Okay, so now we move to the fish respiratory structure and its adaptation. So as you can see here, okay, so the respiratory structure of the fish is the gills. Okay, so the gills is made up of the gills filaments. As you can see, this is the gills filament, which this is supported by the gill arc. Okay, this one is the gill arc and this one is the gill filaments. Okay, so basically the gas exchange they occur at the gill filaments. Okay, so the characteristic of the filament is basically it is like a thin wall. The wall of the filament is very thin and moist, and then the filament they have like many tiny and flat projection we call as lamella. Okay, a large number of lamella will give a large total surface area for an effective gases exchange. Okay, so basically this is the lamella, and the lamella membrane is very thin and has many blood capillaries, which will encourage for the gas transportation and also absorption. As you can see, the gas exchange will happen in the lamella because it is being surrounded by the blood capillaries. So it will absorb the oxygen and diffuse out the carbon dioxide. Okay, so you can see. Okay, you just ignore this one is in BM because I took this diagram from the biology textbook, which is in Malay punya version. Okay, because I couldn't find the digital textbook in BI. So we move to the frog respiratory structure. We have basically frog. It has two respiratory structures, which is the first one is skin and lungs. So basically, the frog use its skin to breathe during the inactive state, while it use the lungs in active state. In a active state, okay. So first we will going to discuss about the lungs first, and then basically the surface of the lung is folded in order to increase the total surface area for the gas exchange. And then the lung membrane is very thin and it helps to ease the diffusion of the respiratory gases. Okay, the lung membrane is very thin and moist. Okay, so it is will increase the efficiency of the gases to dissolve in the walls, the lungs walls. So the lung also rich with a network of blood capillary to transport respiratory gases. Okay, so now we move to the frog respiratory structure, which is skin. Okay, so now the frog use its skin in inactive state for the gases exchange. So basically the skin is totally thin and it highly permeable to the respiratory gases. So the oxygen and the carbon dioxide can diffuse in and out through the skin of the frog. Okay, so the moist skin of the frog it allows the respiratory gases to dissolve in it. Okay, so beneath the under the skin they have like a network of blood capillaries under the skin of for the gases transportation. Okay, so this will increase the efficiency for the gases exchange inside the body of the frog. Okay, so now we move to the human respiratory structure and its adaptation. For the human respiratory structure is alveolus. This one is the alveolus. Okay, it looks like a grapefruit. Okay, so it looks like a grapefruit, and so basically the gas exchange will happen in the alveolus. Okay, alveolus is really inside the lungs, and then the characteristic of the alveolus, it is the thin the wall of the alveolus is very thin and moist for the gas exchange and for the gas diffusion. And then the alveolus also being surrounded by large network of the blood capillary. As you can see here, it being surrounded by the blood capillaries, and this will enhance the blood. This will facilitate the blood transportations in, and also it enhance the diffusion of the gases, as for example like oxygen and also carbon dioxide. It will diffuse in the oxygen and expel the carbon dioxide. Okay, so alveolus wall is very thin. Okay, so you can see, so the diffusion can happen, diffusion of the gases can happen. Okay, so now what are the similarities between the respiratory structure of human and animal? So basically all the respiratory structure, alveoli, lamella, what else? Skin, lungs, and also the tracheoles, all of them, they have a large ratio of total surface area to volume, which is a very efficient exchange of the respiratory gases. And all of the respiratory structure, they are very thin and moist. Okay, which is this one is to enhance the diffusion of the gases. And then all respiratory structure, they are moist, which is allow the respiratory gases to dissolve, and they have like a large network of the blood capillaries except for the insect. And then it allows the efficient transport for the respiratory gases. Okay, if you notice that all of them, they have like the same characteristic for the respiratory structure, which mean that they have like large total they have like total surface area. They have the all the structure are very thin and moist for the gas diffusion, and they have a large network of blood capillary for the transportation of the gases. Okay, so now, so we take a look on the differences. What are the differences of this respiratory structure? So basically, for insect, the respiratory structure for insect is at the tracheole. For the fish, at the filament and lamella. Frog is at the skins and the lungs, and for the human is alveolus. Okay, so so how large the ratio of the surface area to volume for the respiratory structure is achieved? So basically in insect, a large number of tracheoles. Okay, it will increase the diffusion of the gas, the diffusion of the respiratory gases. For the fish, large number of filament and also lamella. For the frog, the surface of the lung is being folded, so this one, it will increase the total surface area for to the volume. Okay, so this one is the overall skin surface for the frog. And for human, a large number of alveoli will increase the total surface area to the volume. So when the total surface area is to the volume is increased, so there will be like and it will be like it will facilitate the diffusion of the respiratory gases. Okay,